We've been gearing up for Aligned 17, which is a virtual conference dedicated to sales and marketing alignment. It's happening May 22nd through the 26th, and we wanted to do something special for B2B Growth listeners. Leading up to the event, we'll be giving you early access to some of the Aligned 17 sessions. Today's episode is exactly that. So if you like today's interview, head over to aligned17.com and sign up to access every session of the event. We've got an incredible lineup of speakers, including Gary Vaynerchuk, Jill Conrath, Tony Hughes, Tucker Max, and Trish Bertuzzi, along with dozens of other B2B sales and marketing experts. So go to aligned17.com and sign up today. You're listening to the B2B Growth Show, a podcast dedicated to helping B2B executives achieve explosive growth. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. I'm James Carberry.
And I'm Jonathan Green.
Let's get into the show. Welcome back to Aligned 17. We are here today with Giles House. He is the CMO at CallidusCloud. Giles, how are you doing today?
Good to see you, James. Doing well, thanks. How are you?
I am wonderful. Really excited to chat with you. We were talking a bit offline, and we're really going to be talking about, obviously, the theme is sales and marketing alignment, but we're going to be talking specifically about getting your data in good shape and how the quality of that data really helps that alignment happen. And so you've got some stories that you're going to share with us, some specific things that you and your sales cohort have done to get that data in good shape. But before we do that, tell the folks a little bit about CallidusCloud and what you guys are all about over there.
Sure. Well, we're very passionate about what we call lead to money.
Okay.
And James, it really is kind of what it says on the tin. It's how do you turn a lead and make it into money? So for us, it starts with engaging the customer, engaging that lead, making sure that we're aligned with our sales team, that we enable them as best we can to close that deal. And then we look at the whole process. So the sales guy's motivated with good incentive comp plans that drive them to close these deals quickly. Do they have the right tools, the right training? Is the process quick? Can we configure and price and quote and order quickly? And can we get the contract out the door and signed, digitally and fast? So for us, it's about, how do we help sales sell more faster? How do we help companies make more money? And, we do that with our lead to money SaaS suite.
Got it. I love it. Awesome. Like I said, when we were talking offline, you said, man, something that has played such a pivotal role in aligning our own sales and marketing organizations at CallidusCloud has been your data. Can you talk to us about what that's looked like and some of the things that you guys did to really make sure that your data was in a good place?
Yeah, I think, the data is kind of a bit of a boring for some people, but it is absolutely fundamental, James, for us. I mean, we had relatively good, clean data, as good as anybody, I would say. But it was really what we were doing with it. And the temptation was to change the way we measure things too often and change the definitions. And it was never documented. And one side of the house thought we were measuring things this way. And the other thought, actually, this is what a lead looks like to me. And a lot of companies are in that same situation. And it changes very regularly, and it should change very regularly based on how much demand, you've got and how big your sales force is. But making sure that there's a clear understanding of what is a lead is the fundamental. If you don't know what a lead looks like, then if you're stuck at kind of, square one, having the arguments around, well, this wasn't really a lead, that wasn't really a lead, then that's not a good place, and you have those conversations and you end up scratching your head and saying to the salesperson, well, why did you accept this if it wasn't a good lead?
Got it.
And then they'll say, well, because I haven't got any other ones. And it's like, well, what happened to these 100 over here that you completely ignored? And so unless you've got that really written down and locked down, and you've got management and all levels down agreeing on what a lead looks like, what should my follow-up campaign be on the lead, multiple touches, right, for a period of, a couple of weeks. And if they do that and then there's still nothing comes of it, then we need to revisit whether that really was a lead or not and whether we've got the right parameters.
Yeah.
All too often, there's not a scientific or rigorous uniform follow-up approach. And some people will take a quick look at something and go, that looks okay, but actually it's not bubble wrapped with a bow on it, ready to close. So I'm going to I'm going to leave it alone.
Got it.
And so that happens. I mean, it is kind of fundamental and basic, but it's amazing how many people I talk to, whether it's customers, peers, colleagues, that struggle with that first step. And you've got to have a good relationship with your sales counterpart. And I think the key to that is to be very open and transparent, and getting that data in a dashboard that they can see and we can see, and we agree on the numbers and the stages and the definitions.
Yeah.
That's how it has to start, really.
So with that data, when we were talking about it right before we started recording, you had mentioned a content portal. You mentioned a training portal.
Yeah.
As we get deeper into, okay, what does this data being in good shape, what's that really mean? What's it actually look like? Talk to us about, those couple things, as well as the other, real granular, this is the data I'm talking about when I say it needs to be in good shape and everybody needs to know where it is and how to find it and how to access it. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's kind of really your funnel, and, what are the stages that make sense for you? How granular do you want to be? If you've got a telesales team of some shape or form, then you're going to want to check what's the input to that team and what's the output. So marketing qualified leads or automation qualified leads, whatever they may be, you want to see how much stuff am I passing them and how much stuff are they qualifying. And you need to track that on a regular basis, right? Because then you need to be able to see. It's really all about finding out where things are good and where things are not good.
Okay.
And so kind of at every stage of that journey, if we're running a load of digital ads, for example, we want to really scrutinize and be able to see from that channel how much stuff made it to the SDRs, the inside salespeople, and then how much stuff from there did they then qualify and turn into deals. So you need to be able to see kind of each of the major stages. Maybe it just goes straight to an inside salesperson or straight to an outside salesperson. So it's going to be different. But basically at each stage of the funnel, you need to be able to see by tactic, and in some cases by product or by geography, how are my leads performing?
Got it. And is the bulk of that done whenever you and your cohort were really working on this? Was it just kind of configuration of Salesforce to, in creating certain reports, or, what did that look like?
Yeah, some of it's in Salesforce, some of it's in your marketing automation system, and some of it's actually in your content portal if you want to go a bit deeper. But essentially, yeah, it's looking at those volumes and just putting it up on a dashboard, even a spreadsheet, that's better than nothing.
Yeah. And then how often are you going over those kind of common metrics, and then so that you and your cohort are aligned, and then obviously that's going to trickle down into your respective teams? Is that, a weekly conversation? Are you guys talking daily? What's that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it varies. I mean, it should be weekly, to be honest, and I'm not sure that we're honestly weekly at the moment, but, we have the conversation regularly, and certainly, the demand gen guy on my team, he'll have that conversation with the various sales stakeholders, and we have weekly reports that circulate. So we're in, we know what the numbers are and we see them regularly. And I guess we talk more when we're not so comfortable and less when we are comfortable.
Yeah.
I guess that's how it naturally ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah.
And the key is, we look at it all the time. That's the key. We've got a big dashboard on one of our TVs, and it's there for everybody to see this quarter's performance versus last quarter versus the previous year's quarter. That's those are the three numbers, really.
Got it. So, Giles, it seems like you guys are, pretty well aligned, it seems like, from what I've heard you talk. And so if you were speaking to someone that's in an organization where there's not that alignment, what do you think could be some first steps, maybe some baby steps that they could take to start down that path of, achieving that alignment that you guys have found at CallidusCloud?
I think, James, first step is have we got that common definition? Have we got the systems in place to track in the right format how we're doing? So have we got our definition of what does our lead funnel look like? What are the steps? Have we defined what a lead looks like? Is it a company that's $1 billion of revenue? Is it 500 million? Is it 1,000 people? It changes depending on who you are and who you're selling to. But just, first step, revisit the assumptions, write them down, and do it like a contract. Get the sales guy to sign off and say, right, yeah, this is what I'm after. Do you agree? Yes. Perfect. Right. And then that's half the battle won. And then you can go start hunting the leads and reviewing and seeing how many of them meet the criteria and how many don't.
Okay. Another thing that you had mentioned, you touched on kind of really defining those, what is a lead, getting that terminology to where you guys are on the same page. And then you mentioned something too offline, really determining, even getting down to the level where you're determining how long something should stay in each stage.
Yeah.
Talk to us a bit about that.
I hate giving the answer, but it depends, because it depends on the type of product that you're selling. And, we got lots of different products, and some of them are very long sales cycles and some of them are comparatively short. There's no magic answer, but I think certainly at the early stages, you never want to have a lead left untouched for more than a few minutes if you can help it. On that initial inquiry, if somebody logs onto the website and downloads something or responds to the chat box, we want to be responding to that person immediately. We're not there all the time, but that's the goal. Okay. And the various charts will tell you that if you're outside the first hour, the chances of success dwindle massively.
Okay.
So you definitely want to try and get them early on as engaged as you can, and then just keep a track on it. And if your most successful deals are ones where they progress, every couple of weeks they move forward a stage in the funnel, then that's what you should shoot for.
Okay.
If it's more likely on average that it takes a month to move from, sales qualified to evaluation or detailed discovery or whatever the stage is that you have, then, that will tell you. So you've got to kind of look at the averages and figure out, how long is my sales cycle? How long is it going to take me to figure out, is this a real opportunity? Is there a probability of success? Is there a budget? When's it going to close? And then what are the steps? Is it multiple demos? Is it POCs? Or is it a relatively short evaluation phase?
Got it.
It's going to be different.
And so how does being on the same page with that on the sales side, understanding those kind of numbers and what that looks like, how does that impact what you and your team are doing on the marketing side?
Well, it helps from the velocity side of the equation. There's obviously the quantity, but if it's going to take you a long time to drive those leads through the funnel, then you actually need more of the quantity, don't you? So it helps from that standpoint, but it also helps to look at, if I'm shooting for, it's coverage, isn't it? If it's a 9-month sales cycle, you need to be looking, 3 quarters ahead at the goal for the sales team. And so our Q2 pipeline goal would be aligned to our Q1 2018 bookings goal, right? And if it was 4 times coverage, then, we'd need 4 times whatever it is in pipeline. So we need to be generating hundreds of millions of dollars of pipeline now, for example, whatever the number is. So it helps from that perspective. And then also from a forecasting perspective, one of our great tools is something that allows us to look at the quarterly performance. And in Salesforce, that's something which is actually quite difficult to do because of the snapshotting issues. But it allows us to see what was our pipeline, how many deals did we have at each stage last quarter. Therefore, how much confidence do I have that we're going to hit the number for this quarter?
Okay.
And so keeping an eye on what is where and how long it's sticking, it gives you more confidence in the forecast and helps the sales team particularly look at where they need to focus to try and, accelerate more deals.
Makes sense, Giles. This has been incredible. If there's somebody watching this and they want to dive deeper on, something you said or dig into this more with you, what's the best way for them to stay in contact with you? And then also, if they want to learn more about CallidusCloud, how can they do that as well?
Yeah, I think Twitter for me, @HouseGiles is my Twitter handle. And, we are connected on Twitter, so I'm sure we can find each other that way. And then the website is CallidusCloud.com, CALLIDUS cloud.com.
Love it. Awesome. Well, Giles, thank you so much for your time today. This has been fantastic, so I really appreciate it.
Good to see you, James. Thanks for the time.
To ensure that you never miss an episode of the B2B Growth Show, subscribe to the show in iTunes or your favorite podcast player. This guarantees that every episode will get delivered directly to your device.
If you'd like to connect with B2B executives from all over the world, make sure to join our private Facebook community. There are some incredible conversations happening inside this group. To join, visit b2bgrowthshow.com/FB.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.